So, to recap last session, you entered the sewers, then you fought a floating head squid, or as far as some of your characters are concerned, a floating head squid. Others might know it as a gazer. The fight took longer than I thought it would, and one person got down instantly. Which, frankly, I did not expect, but that's D&D sometimes. You found that the sewers were connected to a tavern. You all stopped to get a drink and rest up before entering the actual hideout.
It's definitely a sense of urgency in this party.
I mean,
urgently getting to the next bar.
Well, in our defense, we were covered in poo.
I mean, yeah. You guys were dung sweepers for a day. Or a few hours. So, you went into a hideout. You assume it's a Xanathar hideout, one of the many in the city. You also happen to find a secret door, which may or may not have had you bypass 90% of the dungeon and straight into the boss room, which, that's fine. That's fine with me. And as soon as you entered the boss room, you noticed a person with a squid-looking head, and as some of you would call it, a brain frog, and a half-orc stepping over Floon, who looks to be in very serious danger. So, let's RP this a little bit before we actually roll initiative. So, you open the doors, and if I do remember correctly, Bone Carver was the one opening the door, and he failed his investigation check. Not investigation, his stealth check on this, and he tripped into the room.
Yeah, failing would be putting it mildly.
Bone Carver, you can go ahead and stand up if you want, since you're technically prone.
Yeah, I'll probably do that as soon as I possibly could.
But let's see.
But slowly, he's like...
So I'm pretty sure everyone sees Groomshar over Floon. However, only Bone Carver really sees the Brain Frog and the Squid Man. Let's, you know what? Roll an Arcana check to see what you know about aberrations.
Probably not that much. Well, for -1, that's not too bad, but it's still just a 10.
You've heard stories of the fabled squidmen, that they don't come from the sea and that they do strange things to the head box, the brain. You think, looking at the brain frog, that they might turn your brains into frogs. Okay. I think in the last session I did describe the room, but I'll just do this again very quickly for everyone. Threadbare curtains hang on the east wall of a long hall, in the middle which a muscular half-orc in dingy robes stands with his foot on the chest of a male human with wavy red blonde hair. He kinda maybe looks like Raynar, but not really. Fire burns around the orc's clenched fist, and his victim cries and squirms helplessly beneath him. Seated on a raised platform to the south is a nightmarish figure wearing black robes. It has large white eyes and rubbery purple skin, with 4 tentacles encircling its inhuman mouth. It cradles and gently caresses what looks like a brain frog. That is what we're calling them now. And not their actual name, because their actual name's kind of scary when you think about it. Okay, so as you stumble into the room, the half-orc kinda snuffs the fire in his hand, and he just kinda glances over at you, like surprised. You can kinda tell from his face, he's just trying to figure out, wait, where did you come from? So I'm gonna give you guys, you know, like one action maybe to do, relevant to the situation, whether or not it's before the enemies, or if you want to see if you can resolve this diplomatically if possible.
Sounds like a plan.
Or maybe just a moment to bust out a one-liner.
I'm looking around, also making very certain that ones behind me can see that I'm looking downwards, well, according to the map. Hopefully signaling them that there are small things down there. And I point at Floon, because my character has no idea how it's called, and say, "Do you need him? We kind of do."
So, everyone in the room, actually even beyond the room, everyone, you start hearing something, but it's not actual sound. You can kind of tell that it's not actual sound that's coming from the room. You hear it as if it's like right next to you, like almost it's coming inside your head. And you just hear this guttural voice, and it says, Groomshar, who are these people? And Groomshar kind of straightens up, very obviously scared of this person. They're intruders! And as he's raising his hand to cast something, you can see the creature while holding the brain frog. I'm just gonna move the brain frog over on top of him. You can see him like not walk, he's just levitating off of his platform and slowly descending down. As he descends over to Groomshar, you can see he moves a hand over to his chin to sort of like force him to look him in the eyes. And he says, bring the wrong person, and on top of that, you let people just waltz in to this hideout. You can see a little bit of sweat dropping from Groomshar's forehead.
Can I slowly back away?
Just one more thing before you do.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Squid Man drop the brain to his side, and he gives it a little pat before leaving it alone. And then he kind of just shoves Groomshar toward you, Bone Carver. And then he says, dispose of them, and maybe I'll consider leaving your brain intact. And he's just gonna start floating away into the room. So everyone, roll initiative.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
hi. Oh, don't forget to roll initiative for Reynar.
Yes, that too. I need to pull out Reynar's sheet again.
He's been forgotten quite a bit.
Groomshar. We're not even gonna bother with Floon. Floon's just there. Sorry, I need to look up Reynar. Here we go. Okay, Bone Carver, you're up first. You notice Squid Man starting to float away. He doesn't really even pay attention to you, but Groomshar is in front of you as well. He looks ready to fight, and the brain frog is just across the room at the moment.
I don't know if I can do anything because I'm already in melee range of everything.
You have Sacred Flame. I think you have Sacred Flame. Do you have Sacred Flame?
Do I have Sacred Flame? I do not.
Okay, never mind then.
I do have Word of Radiance though.
You do?
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess I'll do that.
Okay. What was that again? A con save?
It is a con save, yes.
Okay, so it's each creature of your choice. Am I to assume that you're doing it on Groomshar and the...
I'm doing it on everything. That's
Okay.
seemingly a whole stat. So Groomshar, the floaty thing, and the brain froggy thing.
Okay, what's your spell save DC? Well, the brain frog, I don't think it reaches him. I think it's just...
But my save is a 13.
Okay, so first let's go for the Flayer. And con, correct?
Yes.
That's an 18. I'm pretty sure that saves. Okay. Groomshar. What does he get? That is a 4. I'm pretty sure that hits.
At least that hits, yes. So it
Go
takes
ahead
one-
and roll damage.
Three. Yay. He's not like vulnerable to radiant damage or anything.
I'm pretty sure he isn't. I'm pretty sure that's just standard damage on him.
Oh well.
That being said, he does not look like a very strong folk. That did seem to have dealt quite a number on him.
Yes. 3.
Yep, that number. The exact number is 3.
I guess the Flayer's just wearing really good shades.
Or maybe he just had tentacles in front of his eyes.
It's like, I'm not even gonna look at you.
Talk to the
Okay.
tentacle.
Will that be your turn?
Yes. Yes, it will.
Okay, seeing that you just tried to attack him and fail, but still attack him regardless,
Mm-hmm.
Squid Man will glance over at you
Oh no.
Okay, so I need you to roll.
Please be wisdom.
It's a roll a wisdom saving throw at advantage.
Wisdom saving for advantage.
Yeah.
Roll me double ones. No, look at that.
Okay.
That should work, right? 23.
Okay, so
Please.
okay, so this is what happens. When he sees the word of radiance, you can kind of see that it didn't really affect him. There's like this thin barrier around him that protected him from the damage. Seeing such a transgression, he quickly glances at you, and you see his eyes glow a bright purple, and you feel something just trying to take over your mind, but you manage to shrug it off. The Squid Man, you hear in your head, you hear a voice say, commendable, and he will keep walking, well, floating. If you want to take an opportunity attack, you are free to do so. Okay, roll the attack.
I guess I'll try and see what Mind Flayer tastes like.
Oh my god. Please don't let it hit.
So this is what happens. As you try to bite him, this happens in like a split second. You're not even sure how it happens, but you see his hand just like slap you down into the floor, and you are knocked prone, and then you hear in your head, "Down, boy."
Oh, we're screwed.
You take 1 point of damage.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And you take 16 pride damage.
Oh.
That's not actual damage, but your pride is pretty wounded.
Get the characters down, everyone. Need healing. Come on, give me some pep talk.
Or everyone just saw that Bonecarver was just swatted away like nothing. And you see the Squid Man just glide over to the pillar that had a slot. If you guys remember from last session, there was this small slot into the pillar. And you see him extract a small coin. It kind of looks like an eye. And you see him, like, not even caring about you guys. He's just going to insert the eye into the pillar. And he vanishes.
Oh.
Don't sound so
Thank
disappointed.
heavens. Bonecarver's not, he's happy.
Merrick, you're up. You just saw Squidman vanish. Bonecarver's knocked prone. Groomshar is right there above him.
Oh.
And you think you saw something on the other side of the room?
Just in case you know, with regards to urgency, because I am prone, he has advantage in all attacks against me.
Yeah.
Melee attacks, to be
Yeah,
specific.
but he's in melee range, so yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah.
It's your move.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Would I be able to, like, say to Groomshar, you don't have to work for him, you could help us instead?
You can certainly try that.
Then you wouldn't have to be afraid.
Okay,
You seem like a good chap, just it's unfortunate circumstances seem to be on you.
Roll insight before you say the good chap part. You can tell he's very much not a good chap. Despite being maybe on the lanky side.
I didn't mean it, I was lying.
I know, but whether or not he believes himself to be a good chap is also relevant. But anyway, go ahead and roll persuasion. Okay.
+6 persuasion.
So-
What?
So this is what happens. So, Groomshar, he kind of lowers the dagger he was about to shove into Bonecarver. And as you're saying this, Raynar also comes in. He says, "He's right, Groomshar. You don't have to do this. We can fight Neilord together." And then Groomshar just has this realization dawn upon him. You're right. I don't have to be afraid of him or the... And then, just as he's about to say it, you see the brain frog latch onto his head, and he is screaming incredibly loudly. And this creature, let's see, rolls an attack. Let me see. Okay. Okay. The attack lands. It doesn't do much of damage, but that's not what it wants to do. I need to roll some things. So let's see. Okay, so as it's latched onto its head, you suddenly see his eyes kind of roll to the back of his head, and you kind of see like just this thick glob of drool just falling from his mouth. He stops screaming. He just goes completely silent, and then the brain frog just does a little hop and vanishes, and then the eyes roll back, and then they regard Bone Carver. And so the brain frog's gone. You don't know where he went. Some of you might have an idea. But now Groomshar goes back to looking very hostile. So I'm gonna say you trying to convince him was your action, Merrick. If you have a bonus action, you can go ahead and try that.
I don't know if I do. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay. In that case, Raynar's turn. He's not gonna focus so much on damage because he's more concerned about Floon for the time being. So he's gonna walk past you. Actually, he'll try to help you up.
He could do that.
Bone Carver. He can if I say so.
Fair enough. I'm fine with it, though.
So he's gonna try and use his action. I'm gonna roll to see how successful he is.
I'm not resisting.
Yeah, easy enough.
Yay.
He helps you back up, tries to distract Groomshar, if you can even call it Groomshar anymore. And he'll try to help Floon by just kind of blocking the attacks. Next turn. John, you're up.
Sewers, dirty squid, squid man, disappearing brains. I have had it. I'm going to rage and I'm going to thrust my spear into the half orc. Nice.
Okay, that'll hit. Roll damage.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so here's the thing. Groomshar didn't have a lot of HP to begin with. And frankly, he's not who you should be worried about. So the body you kind of impale him. Well, no, you don't kind of. You do impale him through the chest. The body falls limp, but you kind of see the head starting to twitch.
That is creepy.
Okay, are you gonna do anything else?
No, that was my turn.
Okay, Dare, you're up. You just saw your companions. Actually, roll a perception check.
Okay.
Okay, so you just saw Bone Carver get the shit slapped out of him. You saw Groomshar get something happen to him. Actually, roll Arcana to see if you know what just happened. You saw a brain frog. Okay, you've heard of these things before. You've heard stories. You don't know everything about them. But you know they're called intellect devourers, and maybe they eat brains? So yeah, you saw something. Maybe he had his brain eaten. It's a little unsettling, but that you just saw your companion run up, shove a spear into his chest. Head's still kind of twitching, though. That's a little unsettling for you.
Is Groomshar still on his feet at this point?
Not so much on his feet as he is just kind of leaning on John's spear, and John's kind of holding him up.
Okay.
Like, you could technically say he's standing.
Well, I suppose I better assume he's not dead if he's still kind of twitching. So, can I hit with an arrow from here without hitting Bone Carver?
Yeah, I can say, like, you lean to get the proper positioning.
I'm going to fire an arrow from here then, keep my distance.
Okay. Are you aiming for a specific
I
part?
am aiming for the head.
Okay. Given that you're not technically shooting Groomshar, well, you are, but you're not aiming for Groomshar per se. Let me just see. Okay, I'm just gonna increase the AC a tiny bit just because you're aiming for the head that's twitching violently and in a very exorcist way.
Nice.
So go ahead and roll for an attack.
Okay.
Oof, that does not hit. Okay, next, Groomshar. He's dead. Bone Carver, you're up.
I am not getting my teeth anywhere near
Actually,
that.
sorry, not Bone Carver. This is what happens. The head explodes, and out of it comes the brain frog, and it pounces at you, John, and it will make...
If it tries to
attack.
devour my intellect, it
It'll-
will kind of go hungry.
No, something worse. Okay, it'll try to attack you. That is a natural 20. Okay.
Ouch.
You take 16 points
What kind
of
of
damage.
damage? Oh,
Slashing.
then it's half, I think.
Okay, then you just take 8.
Oh, just saying.
So go ahead and mark
Yeah.
that damage. I
Right
need to
now.
roll something. Roll an intelligence saving throw.
I'm so good at those. Oh, that's only it's a -1.
Okay,
I
let me
don't
roll some
think
things.
this is-
You feel kind of... Well, not kind of. You feel very lightheaded.
So how did it attack me? Did it bite me or?
It clawed you.
Okay, so it's
Its
claws.
short and stubby claws are like clawing at your face, and it's trying to latch onto your face. You feel... I'm not sure how to describe this, but you feel stupider.
Guys,
You have
Normal,
taken... You have taken 3 points of intelligence
does that mean?
damage. So your intelligence score has gone down by 3 points.
wow. I have a 6 in intelligence now. That means I'm basically a vegetable.
Just note your original intelligence, or just keep in mind your original intelligence. Can it do anything else?
Please no.
Even more?
Noticing that you didn't go down immediately, it'll jump off of you and try to run in the room, because it can detect everyone else in there. So you can make an opportunity attack if you like.
Ooh.
John.
I will then.
That will not hit. That'll end its turn, so Bone Carver, you're up. You just saw John get scratched in the face, and there's just sort of this kind of vacant stare to him. It's more vacant than usual.
For a split second, you see Bone Carver not really sure whether he approves or disapproves of this new condition. I'm going to attack it, not quite sure yet how, which would make the most sense. Oh, you know what? That's not a hit. Not even close.
That does not hit.
Nope.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think there is anything else I can do.
Okay. So, Merrick, you just saw something. I'm not sure if it's horrifying to you, but for most people it would be horrifying. You just saw a little brain thing attack Groomshar, and then it just poofed, and then it exploded out of his head. Blood and no gray matter anywhere. You kind of wondered where the original brain went. And you just saw the brain frog just hop into the room. What do you do?
Well, I don't know what it is, but I don't like the look of it. And I've had enough of these large fruit-sized creatures being insanely dangerous. And I know you guys have been waiting for this. I will use Magic Missile.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, power!
Okay, okay, so go ahead and roll the damage for Magic Missile. Okay, yeah, so 8 force damage.
Ooh, a 1, a 2, and a 2.
Every little bit helps.
This is true.
I do want you to roll a d20, though.
Okay,
Okay. Your spell does not go wild.
good.
It's good for Dare anyway.
Will that end your turn?
Yes.
Okay, so Raynar, upon seeing an exploding head, he's just gonna go, "What the? What is that thing? Shoot it! Shoot it!" And let's see, does he have any ranged attacks? Yeah, he can throw a dagger. So he's gonna try that. Oh, that hits.
Hmm.
A sudden dagger just comes in and deals 4 points of damage.
Ah.
Now there's a dagger sticking out of the crusty outer layer of this brain frog. You hear a soft crunch as the dagger comes in. Whether or not that's appetizing to you will depend on your character. John, you're up.
Yeah, so lots of stuff is happening around John. And he just sees this frog on the floor and he's like, pretty frog. And he'll try to grapple it.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
Okay, with advantage, right?
I do
Yes.
believe you're still raging, so yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, and he needs to oppose that with an acrobatics. You do not. Oh wait, advantage. No, and regardless, you do not manage to catch the crunchy frog.
We must have eaten that rat earlier.
Would you like to try anything else? That was your action.
No, John just looks very disappointed, like he's about to cry.
Okay. Dare, you're up.
It's a slippery little bugger. There doesn't seem to be a lot else to do apart from try and stab it, because no one's managed to kill it with fire yet, so someone's got to hit it eventually. Apart from Raynar, he's the only one who's hit it.
Marek hit it because magic missile never misses, and Raynar
Oh,
threw a
Bone Carver
dagger
did
at
3
it.
damage as well. Oh, no,
yeah.
that
No,
was...
it's
Yes,
Boom Shot.
exactly. Yeah, no. Right. Shame.
And that hits, by the way. Roll for damage.
Do that.
Okay.
Roll sneak attack since John is next to it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 1d6.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this thing looks heavily wounded. It seems to be holding on to only but a few threads of life. Still standing though, and it's now its turn. It feels a little cornered, and it feels like its best shot is trying to take out John.
Poor John.
So sorry, John. Well, I need to roll an attack. See if it hits first. Does a 17
Yes.
hit? Okay. So you take 8 slashing damage.
Literally 8.
Um,
In that case, I take
Yes.
4 slashing damage, right? Or was that modified?
I believe so.
It's an unmodified 8?
No, it's unmodified. So
Okay,
yeah,
then I
4
have
slashing
literally
damage.
1 HP left.
Okay, let's see how much intelligence you have left. What's your total
At the moment,
intelligence right
6.
now? Okay. Okay. So I don't even need to roll the third die. As it scratches across your face, you feel like just something enter your head, and it hurts, but then you feel nothing. You kind of drop to the floor. You're not dead, per se.
Per se.
Just brain dead.
I wouldn't say brain dead either. Maybe more like brain unconscious. Your intelligence is at 0 right now.
Okay.
That'll be the thing's turn. Bone Carver, you just saw John go down, you think. But the intellect devourer does look very much heavily wounded.
Yeah, Bone Carver is very much not amused.
I will put my intelligence on 1, by the way, because roll 20 can't... Sorry, so somehow it doesn't work
Okay.
on 0.
Can't handle the
That's
0.
Yeah.
So Bone Carver is going to draw his dagger. And he's going to shout something like, "Only I get to kill him." I attack.
Okay. Okay, that hits. How do you want to do this?
You know how the brain is 2 halves? Yeah, I kind of want,
Yeah.
I want to end that.
Okay.
Make it literal 2 halves.
You cut it in half, and it's a very clean cut. And there's just 2 little halves of brain frog that plop on the floor with just a wet. And you see that the flesh inside is more gray than pink, and it starts oozing out some brain fluid. That is the fight. We take everyone out of initiative. All of you survived the intellect devourer.
Define survive.
Although we don't know what state John is in.
Yeah, I kneel next to John and just
I said-
see what's going on with him.
You're all alive. Technically.
Our hearts are all beating.
He has a heart rate. He's breathing. He has a pulse.
Can I do a medicine check to see what's going on with him?
Yes, go ahead.
15.
You don't know much about the workings of intellect devourers and how exactly they damage the brain, but you feel like he's suffered some maybe magical brain damage. You are fairly uncertain as to how to actually heal this, but it seems like he's not gonna die for now. Maybe for now you're thinking maybe some rest will help. But
I say to the rest,
it doesn't look like he'll be doing much on his own for the time being.
so I'll just look at the other two and be like, his wounds will heal, but I can't fix stupid.
Maybe we should just get him somewhere safe for the time being.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe that's a
That
good
does sound
idea.
like a plan.
Can he walk?
Is Floon able to help carry him? Right now?
Yeah, it looks like he'll need some help. Like,
See, that's,
his body kind of
is
knows
Floon alright?
how to walk. Floon, he's pretty beat up. There's a lot of bruises and cuts on him. He looks a bit shaken, but he is very much wounded. Maybe as wounded as John.
But not as brain dead.
No, he's not brain dead. He's
Okay.
fine. Or brain-wise, he's fine.
So, okay, in that case, I'll talk to Floon and I'll say, if I heal you, will you help me carry this big oaf?
He just kind of like stammers, but he nods.
Then I shall cast Cure Wounds on him.
Well, go ahead and roll the cure one, see how much he heals. Oh, that's quite a bit. It might be more than his actual HP. That's way more than his actual HP.
Wow.
We'll just go with it, though. He holds your hand, and he just says, thank you. He looks close to tears, but he manages to hold it in. Raynar kind of pats his friend on the back, and he says, don't worry, Floon. We'll get you out of here. Okay, so, room's empty, Intellect Devourer is dead. You guys do see 3 different entrances. Well, actually, no. 4 different paths, aside from the one you just entered. Okay, so, would you like to explore or make your way out?
We should probably take John out.
Yeah.
That is appreciated.
I think unless anyone's feeling particularly brave, I think we should beat a hasty retreat.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
I will say to Dad, like, the tiefling, will you check the headless guys for anything of value?
I'd like to check the room for anything of value as well. The boss room.
Okay,
I'm
Both?
carrying John, so there's no way I'm checking.
so one of you can roll investigation at advantage, or both of you can roll individual checks.
Do you want to do it at advantage?
Yeah, let's try that.
Whoa!
Okay. So let's see. Okay. So you don't really find anything of value in the room. Actually, you do find something. My bad. So, tucked behind a stone chair, the stone chair that the Squid Man was sitting on, you find, I'm going to link it in chat so you can write it easier, but what you find is a small unlocked wooden chest containing 2 potions of healing, 16 gold pieces, 82 silver pieces, and around 250 copper pieces. On top of that, you do find in Groomshar's satchel, it is now a very blood-stained satchel since his head exploded, a spellbook which contains the following spells: Burning Hands, Disguise Self, False Life, Shield, Unseen Servant, and Witch Bolt. So I will also copy that into the chat.
And if only we had a wizard.
Yeah.
Well, let's hang on to it, just in case one of us dies, and we need to roll another character that becomes a wizard.
Yeah.
You could also sell.
That's
You could also
pessimistic.
sell it.
I prefer practical.
Okay, and that's pretty much all you find in the ways of loot for this room. So, does your group make a retreat right now?
I'd say yes.
I think so.
Yeah, too
Okay.
injured to press on.
So it's easy enough. You guys go back to the sewers, go up the ladder to the tavern, and
We don't buy John a drink.
you.
Maybe
That is
that
up to
will
you
revive
guys.
him.
He's still unconscious, remember?
So where are you taking John? Like, you can say a doctor, or maybe back to Volo, or look for someone with a particular that can provide a particular service to maybe see what's wrong with him?
Fluid or Raynar should know someone.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good point. So, Raynar says maybe we should take him to Volo. He did write Monster Guide after all.
Yes.
Yes.
Doctor would be of little extra use as to what I could have done.
Let's say you guys rent a cab for this, or a coach in this case, to take you to the Yawning Portal. That'll be 1 copper for each of you.
Including John.
Yes, I'll just take that. I'll just take 2 out of your pouch because I didn't have any copper pieces.
Well,
We
you
just
guys
picked
just
up
got
250.
250 copper pieces from
Oh
the
right,
chest.
so
Yeah.
just used 4 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably
We'll give him a
better.
tip.
I just give him a silver.
Yeah.
Don't have it.
Yep.
That's
Because Reyna and Floon also have to come along, right?
Yes.
yeah, fair enough.
That's true.
Yes. Raynar can probably pay his fare.
Probably, but still.
I guess I can take you guys to this one. This is a very particular version of the Yawning Portal.
Oh.
Wow.
You come in to the tavern. The bartender greets you all, and he kind of pauses a bit when he sees John's state.
John's just drooling, looking very happy.
He kind of knows instinctively who you're looking for, and he says, Volo's right there. And he points him out in the corner. Let me just pull up. So you see Volo drinking alone at the Yawning Portal. He looks kind of anxious as he's awaiting news for Floon. And once he notices the group, his face lights up and he just like briskly walks over all of you and just like tries to hug as many of you as he can. He's a large person, so it's not super hard for him. And
When he hugs John, John just
he's-
says,
oh my.
I'm carrying John, that's why I'm not patting him away, but I look deeply disgruntled by the hug.
I'm just picturing kind of like when you hug a cat and it's just kind of trying to shy away from you.
Yeah, basically that.
And then you see Volo say, "Oh, what happened to him?"
He had an unfortunate run-in with a brain frog.
Brain frog, an intellect devourer?
Yes, that might be the name for it.
Oh my, I've encountered these before. And he just kind of holds on to John's head and he kind of like widens his eyelids a little more so he can see into his pupils. Well, it didn't take him over, did it?
No. No, it didn't.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Scratched him a few
That's very
times.
good.
We saw
Okay.
someone, it did. Yeah, it was not quite the same.
Okay, well, fortunately, as long as it didn't take its brain, he should be fine, with a little bit of rest. He might have a headache for a few days, though. I'll put the room on me, and you can just let him sleep there for the time being. But I'm just so glad you brought Floon back. So, you have successfully returned Floon to Volo, and your quest is completed. So, which one of you wants to bring up the reward first?
It would definitely be Dare.
It would definitely not be bone carver, so.
Okay, so Dad, how do you bring up the conversation?
So, you're clearly very grateful for us returning your friend, and I think I remember something about a reward.
You see his smile vanish. Actually, roll an insight check.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need a super high check to realize that maybe he was stretching the truth a tiny bit for the gold that he was gonna pay you. And so he says, you see, I confess that I have but a few coins to spare. But I never let said that Volo reneges on his promises. And allow me to present something much more valuable. And he holds out a scroll tube. This is a deed to a remarkable property here in Waterdeep. We'll need a magistrate to witness the transfer, of course, but I'll arrange a meeting, and once you've looked at the estate and deemed it satisfactory, it's all yours.
You're giving us a house?
Oh, not really a house. It's more of a former tavern.
At this point, Dare is thinking about how many possible gambling and betting rings she could fit into one tavern. Well, okay, this could be a good compromise.
I look at there and just like, think of all the food I could make there. And I say there's this big toothy grin just hanging her on.
We can choose our own.
Fantastic! Wonderful. So I'm assuming you are happy with this arrangement. So I will set up a meeting with the magistrate. And he glances over at Raynar.
And poor John doesn't get a say.
What does John have to say about it? Okay. So let's take like 10 minutes to just like in-game 10 minutes just to set up John in a room. Let's just say you leave him there, rest for a little bit. It is late in the day. You know what? You guys arrange to have the meeting tomorrow morning because it is late and one of your friends is semi-brain comatose.
Yeah. Would the meeting be at the location?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, I would have wanted to go there first, but if that's what's going to happen, then... Oh.
Okay, so let's everyone take a long rest.
Yes!
You recover half your hit die, which is all of your hit die because you only have one right now. You recover all your health, recover spells and such. And, John, your intelligence is back to its normal status.
Yay. Back at 9.
You wake up.
Speaking of rewards, when does experience get doshed out?
Well, we don't do experience, so we're doing milestones.
Mm-hmm.
And the milestone, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll go into detail with it in a little bit.
That's a satisfactory answer.
You meet up with Volo in the morning, and Raynar comes back too. You don't know where he went, but you feel like he's a man that likes to be secretive of where he spends his nights.
Oh.
Okay, if you want to take it that way, sure.
I think everyone took it that way.
You know that Raynar is probably not popular among several types of people, so it needs to be hidden for the most part when he's in Neverwinter. No, not Neverwinter. What? Wrong city. When he's in this town, city at least, Waterdeep. Okay, so you guys go to the manor, and as you're looking at the deed, you find that it is called Troll Skull Manor, which is a former house turned into a tavern, which is now turned into an abandoned tavern.
So wait.
Skull?
So how do you tell John this? Because John basically woke up with a headache. Are you dragging him along there?
Oh yeah, you guys can roleplay that. I'd like to see you guys.
Yeah, as
figure that out.
we're walking, I'll fill John in. I'll just say, so we returned to the human who recruited us.
Wait.
And it's
You lost me, Bone Carver.
Yes.
What happened last night? Did we drink too much? My head just... it
your
hurts.
brain got eaten by a brain.
And I had this...
We were fighting. There was a brain. It latched onto your head. It ate
No,
your
no,
brain.
That
You
was
have-
a dream, right? Surely there's no thing
No.
such as brain frogs.
No, what? Are you telling me you didn't fight 6 of them at once during one of your travels?
Wait, that was real? I really fought 6 brain frogs? There exist frogs that eat your
This is-
brains?
Just silence for a few seconds. Sure. Anyway, we talked to the human recruiter. You insisted on him giving us a deed to some building instead.
So John is just muttering, frogs that eat brains. That's terrifying. And then he's like, wait. He's going to give us an inn? Tavern?
Well, our building apparently used to be an inn. You didn't want the gold, you wanted the building. That beats me why. But now all that's set in motion,
what?
it cannot be undone.
I don't want an inn. If I wanted an inn, I have started one. I need gold. I can't chop up an inn
Well,
in
that's
4
what you
pieces
said.
and send one piece over to my family to eat.
Hey, don't look at me.
Just to chime in here, you guys did find gold down in that dungeon, so.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's just John doesn't know that.
No one's telling him.
So whether or not the party wants to tell him that is up to you guys.
At some point, Bonecarver will do that. He's messing with him on the reward part, but the gold they found, he will be honest about that.
We do have like 700 and odd gold from the
We do.
warehouse, so
Yeah.
we're not poor.
Yeah, you guys are kind of loaded right now.
So, John,
Um.
if this inn turns out to be haunted, it's down to you to clear it out.
Yes.
Ghosts I can deal with.
Just as an aside, what is the creature that person number 20 on that picture has? Because it looks like a rabid koala.
It does.
It does, doesn't it?
Let me check. Person number 20. That is a good question.
Maybe it is a rabid
I
koala.
think it just is a rabid koala.
Okay,
I think it's a demon koala.
even better.
Tomato.
I know there's a somewhere in the book that I can check that has all this stuff. I don't know where it is right now. though. You go walking to the location in question. The meeting's already set up, and the Magister will meet you guys there. So I'm just gonna pull you guys to the manor that you don't want to see.
Why would there be
I don't
things
want
we
you.
don't want to see?
No, like labels to all the rooms. I find it better to just show you guys as you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a nice mansion.
Okay. So, okay. You guys check out the manor. It is pretty big. It looks a little dusty. You only really have a chance to check out, to give the rooms a quick glance, and the main room also a quick glance. But it very much looks like a tavern that also doubles as an inn.
Okay.
Other than that, everything seems very normal. Like, you only really had time to, at the moment, because you're all focused on wanting to get the deed signed. That it's mostly unfurnished, empty. It will need a few renovations before you can call this an actual tavern, should you choose to renovate it and make it a nice tavern.
We have the gold to do so.
That you have gold to do some things. Yes, that is true. And so you meet Volo back outside. He's looking at you expectantly, a little bit anxiously, hoping that you find everything all right with the tavern. So he says, well, what do you think?
Can I ask you something, Volo?
Yes, of course.
You didn't have the gold to pay us, but you have this manor house. How does that work?
Well, you see, most of my money went into buying this a while ago, but I could see that I was not really finding what I needed here. So it kind of ended up becoming, a bit of a poor investment. I didn't really plan on setting up a tavern. I just had it there collecting dust.
I can see that.
Roll insight.
Can I roll insight?
Yes. Anyone who wants to check that, roll insight.
I will as well.
Yep.
I rolled a 14. A 3, a 4.
You're pretty sure he's telling the truth.
All right then.
And then you see
So I'm
this
also
tiefling.
also thinking that he's telling the truth.
You don't really detect any sign of what's it called? Deception.
Okay.
You do detect signs of just maybe he's just not saying everything.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so as you're discussing this, you notice someone approaching. It is actually another tiefling. She is walking down the road towards the Troll Skull Manor. And you can see that she's clad in just these very elaborate robes. She definitely seems to be the magistrate you were waiting for. And she approaches. She looks a little bit tired, tiny bit annoyed, and she glances over at Volo, and then she says, Volo, I presume. Ah, yes, magistrate. So happy you could join us here. I just needed you to witness this exchange of a deed. She nods, and then she kind of motions him to proceed. So, Volo presents you with the deed. One of you can sign it.
Are we really doing this?
If
we
no
really
one-
doing
not,
this?
leaving.
No
not
one else-
everyone at once.
No one else is doing it, I will.
I'll sign it. Should we not
Okay,
all be
more than
signing
one
it?
You can do that.
I'll sign it as well.
Well, if we don't get any money, we might as well sign it. Bone Carver, could you put my name down?
For a moment, you see him look very, very. You see this playful twinkle in his eyes, but eventually just yes, sure. And he normally puts your name down with some effort.
I'll put my mark on it
Actually,
as well.
no, my character doesn't remember names, so
He just writes
he
humour.
does. he writes. No, he's actually John's the only one he had a name for as of yet. That's Tall Tales. So he writes down Tall Tales, completely convinced that he's just writing his name.
So possibly 3 of us own this inn.
Yes.
Well, if none of the others see it and correct it,
So, does anyone do anything about him by writing Tall Tales instead of John?
I'll snicker at it a bit, but I probably won't correct it.
Okay. And then
Okay, Dare is feeling
And-
generous, so she will scratch out Tall Tales and write John. Because she still thinks this place
Okay.
might be haunted, so she's spreading the risk.
okay, the tiefling observes the other tiefling, that is, the magistrate, observes this transaction, and then she says, "Okay, that'll just be require a transfer tax of 25 gold pieces to the city."
That's a bit steep.
And then
Surely-
Raynar says, "Don't worry, I got
No,
this.
Okay.
Mm.
It's the least I can do for saving me." And he tosses a pouch to the tiefling, and she catches it in the air. Very well, transaction complete. Enjoy your and she looks up at the just kind of run down in your building, and then she walks away.
So, Bone Carver, you didn't happen to keep the skull from that troll we killed the other day, did you?
I did actually.
It would be a good decoration.
Actually, it's one of the things I did say from it. From the bones.
What luck!
No.
And that properly concludes our first quest. And congratulations, party, you are now level
Awesome.
2.
Yay!
Oh, and I've got some pictures to decorate the walls.
Oh yeah, you do. We never sold the paintings.
We didn't.
Oh, indeed.
Okay, so would you guys like to call it here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good place.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, everyone is now level 2. Hello, this is Chase. You are listening to the Words and Wands D&D show. If you would like to listen to more, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for listening, and see you next time.